All right, my name is Kiiran.
Again, one more second. Okay, you're on.
All right. So I have the sobriety date of this January 6th. I've been 3 months sober and been in recovery for the past 7-8 months. And yeah, I've learned a lot about myself, and I think I've changed as a person. Not quite a lot, but I'm in the process of changing as a person. So yeah, I'll just give a little bit of my backstory. I was born in Tacoma, 20 minutes south of here. I had a pretty good childhood growing up. My parents moved around a lot. You know, there's little troubles with them, but I would say for the most part, it was a pretty average childhood. Remember the first time I touched drugs, I got prescribed Oxycontin for a broken arm in 8th grade. And in 8th grade, I had a little middle school girlfriend. And before I went to her house, I said, why not, take an extra Oxycontin before I go hang out with her, relieve some of the tension. And as an 8th grader, I don't even think I knew what this medication was, but I knew it felt better than what I was feeling in the present. So that night, had a good time. And the next day, I was like, oh, my arm's hurting a little more than usual. Why not just take an extra? And so that really started the spiral. And I wouldn't have said maybe 8 months ago that was my first sign of being an alcoholic. But now that I have a little more clarity over the fact, I do think that is a sign. Did high school. COVID hit when I was in sophomore year. That was a hard time for me. It was an age where I was just hitting puberty. I was wanting to, build these new relationships, meet new people, go out of my way and have new experiences. But it all just really got shut down once COVID happened. And I was in the same spot, hanging out with the same 3 people, my family, my sister, my mom and dad. And that went on for about 8 months after that. It really spiraled me down into a depression of some sort, I would say. And I began to venture out with drugs once again, started with smoking weed. But I think it carried off into some other things, using, drinking, really quickly. I'm 19 and I'm already in these rooms, so I was not the best drug addict. But, I'm glad I'm here. I got kicked out. Actually, let's rewind a little bit. So during COVID, it had been a couple years. I was doing online school because I had too much anxiety to go back to normal school once they started opening up again. My drug use was just going downhill a lot quicker. My family was starting to notice things were off a little bit. I was still trying to hide the fact that I was a drug addict from myself and from everyone around me. So I was living these double lives. And it was a very tough thing to keep up, living this life that, one, I'm a good son, I'm graduating, I'm getting good grades, and this other life where I'm out every weekend partying, looking for the next drink or drug in my sight to use. So this living double lives came down pretty quickly. I got kicked out of my parents' house when I graduated. They said, once you graduate, pack your stuff, you're leaving. And that's for good reason, I was an asshole for that last year of high school, I could say. And I moved out here to Seattle. I had enough money I've been saving up because of work that I moved out with a roommate. And that is when my drinking and using really picked up. So when I didn't have those barriers to fall back to, people to please. And I was just left to my own devices, which were not good at the time. My drinking and drugging ended last August. When I overdosed, and I was on a missing persons list from my parents, and the police found me the next day, overdosed on a sidewalk. So they found me, found who I was, sent me to the hospital, and I woke up with my parents saying, hey, here's a plane ticket, you're going to rehab. And that was my first moment of really giving up, this whole wanting to live double lives, thing that I was putting on. I was just really torn down at that moment and really just was wanting help. So I flew over to California the next day and found myself in a detox for 30 days, getting to know the ropes, learning the Serenity Prayer, practicing over and over till I actually got it and could say it during the meetings. That was fun. And yeah, just really indulging myself into this AA community, which I found to be super beneficial right from the start. I was too scared to go up and get a newcomer chip. I wanted to act like, I've been here before, I got more than 10 days going with me right now. Yeah, once those nerves started slowing down, the anxiety started leaving me a little bit, I really sat down and really focused at these meetings just to get some beneficial thing that someone has said, and really just trying to relate my experience to these other alcoholics. I think initially for the first couple weeks, I was trying to pick out all these differences on why I don't deserve to be here and why I don't belong to be here. And yeah, it was just the wrong way to go about it. And once I started picking up these things of really just engaging and picking out these small things, what you did in your life kind of related to what I did in my life. And, throughout that time, I've learned some great things. So I was down in California for about 7 months. Great experience. I got a sponsor. I got to step forward with him. I made some really great friends down in Los Angeles that I hopefully will go on a refuge meet trip with them soon. And yeah, it was just a great time. I was learning more about myself. And then I decided I want to come back here. I had finished step 5 and finished step 6. And my amends were coming closer and closer. And all the amends that I had to make were down here in Washington. And I made the final decision to come back to Washington. And I don't regret it. I've been here for the past month now. It's been 1 month since I've been back. Really enjoying it. I have not spent a sober second in Seattle previous to this month. So yeah, it's been nice being sober out here. Definitely has its pros and cons. The weather, one thing. That's a con, but also a pro at the same time. And yeah, it's been really great. Just still trying to pick out the similarities in these meetings. In California, they have some differences in these meetings. And initially, when I came back to Washington, I was like, why is it so different? Why is it that way? But there's these similarities, and these differences are, really cool. And it goes to show that wherever you are in the world, AA has your back, and you can really go anywhere. And, you go to a meeting within the hour. Yeah, now I'm doing pretty good. I just got a new sponsor out here in Washington, and he wants me to restart the steps. So instead of making my amends, I'm back to step 1, admitting that I'm alcoholic. And yeah, I had mixed feelings about that initially, but, I think it'll be good to go through the steps again and really dive deeper into this book this time around. I have family out in Tacoma. I really left things hanging when I left after that overdose, and I still have a lot of making up to do, I think, with them, and amends to make with friends and people around me and that have been supporting me throughout this whole thing. And yeah, what time are we at? 6 more minutes? Shoot. Yeah, let's dive more into the meetings that I've been going to. Yeah, so I have yet to find a home group. I've really just been looking for different meetings, trying to go to a new meeting a week. And, I've honestly been going to like 2 or 3 new meetings a week over this month that I've been here. And there's actually so many more like new meetings that I have to hit here. But I really do like some of these groups. I've made some good friends out here already. I'm in a sober living right now. That's really been a pro to my recovery. It's just being in an environment where I don't have temptations and I have this safe space to fall back onto. And I think that's the only place right now that I can be. It's expensive, but I'm also looking into Oxford houses. I think just being in an environment where there's sober people around me, there's a sober community that I can get to when I go home. There's a little pea cup waiting for me when I come back late. It's good to fall back onto right now. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes from here. I'm only 3 months sober. I have a little clarity, but I know the guys at like 5 years are like, at 3 months I thought I knew everything. So I know I don't know everything, but I'm just excited for what's in front of me. I really do see some positive things in front of me. Yeah, excited to work the steps again. Excited to meet these new people in Seattle that are sober. And yeah, I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.